All right, I was just mentioning this bracelet looking really great next to a watch. And ta-da, we've got watches in this hour, and they're from Croton. And this is gonna be your choice. So we've got this is gonna be your traditional, and this is your petite. So it could be a man's style or the woman's size, I should say. But if you're a woman and you like wearing bigger watches, there's nothing to say that you can't wear this one, okay? Because it would just be, you know, obviously a bigger watch on you. Now, the traditional size is the more limited of the two. We have, as a matter of fact, we have fewer than 30 of them available. They're both the same price though. So whether you go bigger or smaller, they're both the same price. And as a matter of fact, we've got them, their original price was about $400. Today it's half price. We have fewer than 100 total, fewer than, you know, just a handful of the larger size. But what's great about this watch is, first off, it is a two-tone link. So you've got the gold tone, and it's a polished gold tone stainless steel case on this one. And then, of course, you have the black dial on the face of that one. That's that black dial. And then you also have the black going through on the link bracelet here, which is just beautiful and just elegant. And I think it's a very sophisticated looking watch. It's a very rich looking watch. But again, it's a two-tone look. So you don't have to commit to, do I want gold tone? Or do I want a black watch? Or do I want a silver color watch? Or do, you know, you've got that gold, that two-tone. So it can really kind of fit the bill across the board. And you can see Sonia put that one on and how beautiful it is. But what's really great about this one is on the inside of the watch, on the dial of the watch, you have an ingot. And the ingot is an actual gold piece. It truly is. It's an actual gold piece. It is numbered. And so there is this, not just the look of gold, but that gold ingot on the inside of this watch. And a lot of times when you purchase a watch, the face of it has some kind, or the dial of it has some kind of design, or maybe it's crystals or things like that. Yours has gold, which is great. It is actually 1 gram of solid gold ingot with that Swiss credit stamp right there in the center of it. So I think that gives it more of an intrinsic kind of value. It gives it more of something special than just a name, because many times when we spend a lot of money on a designer watch, we're buying the name. And yes, it might have, you know, great materials and things of that nature in it, but in a lot of cases, we're buying the name. In this case, you've got actual gold on the inside of that watch. Again, features 1 gram, which is 999.9 solid gold ingot with the Credit Suisse stamp on the inside. Not only that, it is a classic style watch that you can have for years and years. It's not one of these trendy kind of things where you're gonna wear it for a little while and then you might feel like you're getting tired of it after a while. Not the case at all. So you've got a watch that is beautiful, it's classic. It can be, if you wanted to buy both and have one for your spouse, one for you, I think that would be a really nice sentiment. And guess what? You could actually buy both sizes for the same price that you typically would have paid just for one, because this is 50% off. These watches are $400 a piece, typically, except for during our jewelry clearance event. Today, they're half price. They're $199.95 a piece. And yes, you can still get flex pay. And if you have an HSN card, you can use it and you can get an extra flex, which makes the watch $39.99 to get home on your credit card. So if you've been looking for a watch, or you've been wanting one, or maybe you're thinking, okay, because it is gonna be April before we know it. Literally, we're gonna go to sleep and wake up, and it's gonna be April before we know it. And you know what happens in May? Graduations. And you know what the #1 graduation gift is? Or classically it has been, is a watch. Now I know sometimes people give a cruise or a trip or money or things like that, but the cruise is gonna be great, but then it's gonna be over after 3, 4, 7 days. Or if you're lucky, it's 14 days. The trip is gonna be great, but it's gonna be over after a little while. The money's gonna be great, but it's gonna be gone the minute you go shopping. But what's one of the reasons why giving a watch for graduation time has always been a classic gift to give, it's because it ushers you into the workforce. So maybe you've got somebody special graduating from college and you're thinking they need something that's adult, that is going to be very representative of their new station in life and remind them to get to work on time. But it's also classic. So it's not gonna be flashy or showy. It's not gonna be too much. It's not gonna be underdone. It is just a perfect, perfect piece. So if you wanna go for that one, please do it, because